What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Really exciting news from Golden Boy. I had to make some time to make this video. Just been real busy like usual. So, nothing different over here. The news from Golden Boy. Well, actually, let me start off by saying this. In adversity, when someone is faced with adversity, a problem, a conundrum, some kind of riddle, puzzle, something they have to figure out, I really gauge their greatness or what they embody based on how they respond to adversity or competition or whatever. Especially in the sport of boxing, it's like you get guys like Rigondeaux, 12 fights Nonito Donaire. How does he stand up? He's obviously beat the Rico Ramoses and people like that. How does he respond? So I really look at that. And in this case, the battle of the promoters, Top Rank versus Golden Boy. Top Rank started off nice. They had Alvarado and Rios rematch. They had Orlando Salido and Mikey Garcia. Then they had Timothy Bradley and Ruslan Provodnikov. But through the middle, like the spring, summer, it pretty much died out. There weren't as many, I guess you could say, great fights from Top Rank, and it was all Golden Boy. Lucas Matisse, Lamont Peterson, then you had Canelo and Mayweather, you had Lucas Matisse, Danny Garcia, Zab Judah, etc., etc., etc. Josito Lopez versus Marcos Maidana, another fight. That particular fight guard had another great fight, Edeslani Lara and Alfredo Angulo. Who would have thunk? So, recently, Top Rank is coming back, and they put their stake down, and they're trying to make a strong close to the year. Manny Pacquiao versus Brandon Rios. They have Juan Manuel Marquez and Timothy Bradley happening tonight. Can't wait. And some other great fights coming up. So I was anxious to see how Golden Boy will respond. They didn't really have not too many great fights like that on the books for the fourth quarter. And then they put something together. So Richard Schaefer really knows what he's doing. They just finalized Adrien Broner versus Marcos Maidana. It is a pay-per-view card. So Adrien Broner's first pay-per-view headlining performance. The co-feature is the return of welterweight champion Victor Ortiz, who's moving up in weight and getting a title shot against Carlos Molina. Carlos Molina is a very tricky, awkward fighter. Not much punching power. He has like 22 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, and only 6 knockouts out of all those fights. So not a huge puncher, but he is very awkward, very slippery. He can't make it for a hard night. The Ishe Smith and Carlos Molina fight, that was very disappointing. That was very boring, dreadful type of fight. I wasn't entertained. But Victor Ortiz has the opportunity to put his stamp on this fight. Carlos Molina, I don't think he's been stopped. I'd have to double check. This is also the Carlos Molina at the higher weights, not the one that fought Amir Khan. So Victor Ortiz could really do something, move up to 154 and test the waters and see how he looks in this return. If he looks strong, then we might have something. I honestly think Mayweather has like 4 fights left. I could see them pitching a Victor Ortiz rematch if he can get himself back in the picture with some strong performances, especially if he does it at 154. Just because the first fight with Mayweather, even though Mayweather was frustrating Victor Ortiz early, and we all know Victor Ortiz is not the strongest dude mentally, it ended in a controversial fashion. So for that reason, that fight's going to have an asterisk because people are obviously going to talk and like, oh, this would have happened, that would have happened, Victor Ortiz was coming on. And you never really know because the fight didn't pan out how you think it would have. It panned out in the fashion it did. He put his guards down and got knocked out for it. So that's exciting to see Victor Ortiz back again. Not always the most composed, stable fighter, but he's definitely entertaining, and he makes entertaining bouts and bouts and matches, and he comes to fight. It's just if he can hold it together. So looking forward to that, see how he looks at 154. Then they're having Keith Thurman, who just had a tremendous performance against Diego Chavez. Chavez really made him work for that. And Chavez was previously undefeated. You could see the boxing skill. You could see the power. And it was a good competitive fight. Keith Thurman was able to stop him later. And he's facing off against WBA interim title holder Jesus Soto Caras, who is also rebuilding his career. He basically re-energized his career with some solid wins. A win over Selçuk Aydin. He looked good in that fight. And he fought Andre Berto, who was coming off a loss, but A lot of people thought Berto just had the skill set, the athleticism, the speed, the power to really stop or beat a Jesus Soto Caras, and that was not the case. It looks like Caras had him hurt in the first round, and he ended up stopping Berto in the 12th round. So, from a guy who was losing like 3 or 5 fights in a row, something, it was crazy. Soto Caras, he's really done a great job, him and his team, building back up and climbing back up the ladder. Has he earned a Mayweather payday? No, but he's definitely climbing back up the ladder, which is always a good thing in the sport of boxing. I love underdog stories. I love seeing fighters reemerge like Cotto just did recently with some steam. It's just how long can they hold on to the steam? And then, if that's not enough, they have Alfredo El Perro Angulo against Jorge Melendez. Now this is a good fight. This is a solid fight. You got a guy with 27 wins, 26 by KO. Not like he has a stacked resume or anything, but Alfredo Angulo is a power puncher. He comes to fight. He's a warrior, and he showed that in the Edeslandi Lara fight. Me personally, I thought the Edeslandi Lara was going to box his head off and it wasn't going to be competitive, but I was wrong. He knocked Lara down twice, and he got punched in the eye in the 10th round, and he turned away and had to quit because he had like this fucking like large like baby growing from his forehead. This shit was huge. It was like a blood clot or something, hematoma. Like, I don't know. His shit looked horrible. So I'd be interested to see what he looks like, how he repaired and recovered from his injury. And again, another fighter who he's exciting to watch. He's slow, he's sluggish, but he does bring power, and he comes to win. It's just a matter. He's not the most fundamentally sound dude, but he's very primitive and barbaric, and that's always fun to watch. So that's not even considering the main event with Adrien Broner and Marcos Maidana. I really want to see this fight, and that's just the undercard. So again, Richard Schaefer, I don't know De La Hoya's involvement, if he's still in rehab or if he helped put this together in any kind of way. They send him like telegraphs or text messages. I don't know. So props to De La Hoya if he helped, or props to Richard Schaefer, whoever put this together, because this is a hell of a card. And it's December 14th at the MGM. It's definitely pay-per-view worthy in my opinion. That's good fights. That's good quality fights on that. In the past, we've seen other fights, not to diss anybody, but like Marquez versus Pacquiao for a great fight. But I was very bored with the undercard. You had Gamboa and Farinas and Miguel Vasquez, and I don't know. It just wasn't. It was boring to me. The undercards weren't that entertaining to me. I expected more, but this on paper looks like it's going to be good. So I'm really looking forward to it. Adrien Broner versus Marcos Maidana, great fight. We'll see what his chin's like, Adrien Broner that is, at welterweight. We'll see how he looks at his second performance. Marcos Maidana, ever since he lost to Devin Alexander, has been gaining steam, and he beat Jesus Soto Caras. He's beat Josecito Lopez, and he's doing some new things with Robert Garcia. He's using his jab and that kind of thing. So I'm really excited for this card. Let me know what you guys think. Adrien Broner, Marcos Maidana headlining. And it's good to see Marcos Maidana as well as Adrien Broner, but really Marcos Maidana headline a pay-per-view because he's a warrior. His resume, a lot of people don't talk about this. They say whatever they want about Marcos Maidana, but his resume is pretty legit. Whether he won or lost, he was in there with Devin Alexander, Eric Morales, Victor Ortiz, Amir Khan, Josecito Lopez, Jesus Soto Caras. His resume is pretty legit. And I don't just give everyone a resume pass. His resume is pretty, whether he, like I said, whether he won or lost, he's been in there with a lot of different styles. I mean, just going from Amir Khan to like a Eric Morales, those are different styles. They bring different things to the table. So, really looking forward to it. And I'm going to see what Adrien Broner, like, he's talked a lot about he's going to knock Matisse and Maidana out. He had a decent but kind of subpar performance against Paulie Malignaggi. I think the build-up for the fight didn't really translate to the actual fight night. As much shit as he talked before, a lot of people felt he didn't really, I guess, capitalize and do all the stuff he said he was going to do pre-fight. So I really be anxious to see how he looks against Marcos Maidana. Again, a tough customer. He's gonna make you work. He's gonna give you some rounds and give you a tough fight until you can figure him out. Like Devin Alexander fight, a lot of people think that was easy. That didn't. It looked like Devin Alexander was having to use energy to outwork Marcos Maidana, and that Devin fight was pre Robert Garcia, who's definitely been working with him. We've seen Marcos Maidana using a jab, which is something I never really seen him use as heavily throughout a fight. So he looks like he's a growing fighter. I'm not gonna say he's fucking Pernell Whitaker all of a sudden, but he's adding little things here and there to his arsenal. So I'd be anxious to see how it is, and I know Adrien Broner is gonna, Adrian, you know, AB, athletic bastard, always balling, at your bitch. I fuck anybody booty. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of this fight card. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video. It's Ego signing off.